Confetti, it is here. First training camp practice of the season has taken place, and we are all over it on NFL Total Access. With Scott Hansen, I'm Lindsay Rose.
The old proverb goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The journey of 267 NFL games begins with a single practice. The Broncos, the first team on the field for training camp 2019. New head coach, Vic Fangio. New quarterback, Joe Flacco. They take over a 6-10 team that hasn't made the playoffs since Super Bowl off wrist surgery.
He looks good. He looks good. You know, looks about like I thought he would, or about like I hoped he would, is probably a better phrase. But again, he had a wrist injury, an unusual wrist injury, so he had his legs, so probably shouldn't be surprised. But he was chomping at the bit to get out there.
He's like one of my kids. Like, I don't know where he gets all the energy, but he has it 24/7. But overall, it's just his personality. He's a lot of fun to be around because of that. He keeps it a lot of energy around and keeps it young, keeps me young and everybody going.
Let's go to James Palmer now with more from Broncos headquarters.
The Denver Broncos start another training camp with yet another new starting quarterback. But Joe Flacco afterwards acknowledged that he knows this is John Elway's town. He just hopes there's room for a couple more quarterbacks. And the offensive players I've spoken with already have latched on to the even-keeled signal caller. And Flacco, asked about that demeanor, brought up his favorite tennis player of all time, Roger Federer. He said it's his favorite because he's unfazed throughout the ups and downs in the duration of a match. But there's a little more gusto to Flacco now with a change of scenery.
There is an energy about coming here and an excitement that I feel about coming to this new team and, getting another chance to, be a starting quarterback in this league. I don't think you can ever take for granted how awesome it is to get to do what I'm doing and what we are all doing. So I'm definitely excited about it and ready to go. I feel like a little kid.
Speaking of youth, Broncos rookie quarterback Drew Lock did practice in full and signed his contract this morning, took his conditioning test actually after practice, after contract negotiations involving a quarterback premium, extended time. After practice, though, Lock told us that there was no way, and he told his representatives this, he was going to miss any practices. A deal needed to be done before practice started this morning.
James, thank you very much. Joined now by our analyst for the show, longtime NFL defensive back Brandon Boykin and former All-Pro running back Maurice Jones. Drew, MJD to you first. Joe Flacco is the 6'6" quarterback elephant in the room. How well does he need to play for the Broncos to be playoff contenders?
He just needs to be efficient.
Not great.
Not great. I'm not asking you to be Peyton Manning. I'm not asking you to take over the game, be Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers or anybody like that. I just need you not to turn the ball over and make sure that when you throw the ball, you're throwing to the right person all the time. This system is what's going to help him out here. Now, Joe Flacco played in this system in 2014 under Gary Kubiak, and I have some stats here for you.
Lay it on me.
The passer rating was 91, and that's what you want. They went 10-6 that year. He had 27 touchdowns and 12 picks. You want to bring down the picks a little bit, but you like the 27 touchdowns. You want him to be efficient as he goes down. You see him throwing it to some of his playmakers right now. Just again, don't force the ball. Just make sure you get it to your playmakers and use that running game as well in that defense.
Brandon, before you get to it, I actually have one stat for you. You know how many touchdowns the Broncos threw in their Super Bowl 50 championship season? Peyton Manning, 19 touchdowns is all they threw that year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We don't need you to be a magic man. We don't need you to be Merlin or the Wizard. We just need you to get the ball to the right person.
He says
and let the team go.
Solid, not spectacular. Yeah. What says you, Brandon?
I mean, I completely disagree. He has to be the guy. For a couple of reasons, right? They're young. They need veteran leadership in their quarterback. They don't have a bunch of superstars. And you talk about Emmanuel Sanders, he's coming off an Achilles injury. We don't know what he's going to do. So Cortland Sutton essentially is going to be your number one wide receiver as a second-year guy. So I think they're young. Philip Lindsay, we don't know what he's going to do as far as coming off of the injury. I know they got Royce Freeman coming back, but if he wants to just be a game manager, why not let Drew Lock come in and grow? So we need more than him. Don't just run the ball.
Are you saying like 33, 35 touchdowns? Of
absolutely.
Being the man? Really?
I think Flacco has to be Flacco of old in order to get the respect from his teammates as well as get this offense going up front.
So which Flacco do you want? You want the Flacco that didn't do really well in the regular season but played exceptionally well in the playoffs? Or do you want the guy that's kind of just sputtered along? So that's the question for me when you say no superstars. I disagree. You have Von Miller. right? You have Bradley Chubb.
Offensively, we're talking offensively.
And that's what happens, though. When you don't have a good offense, your defense has to step up, right, and make those plays. And I think when the Broncos won Super Bowl 50, tell me how their defense was.
Yeah.
They're not established yet. We don't know what that defense is going to do.
I would agree with that,
he's gotta
too.
Be able to,
they're not.
He's got to be able to come in right away and take command and have people follow him.
Joe Flacco, though, peak Joe Flacco was the playoff run, which was just a 3-game sample size during the Ravens Super Bowl season when he won MVP. We've never seen him throw 33, 35 touchdown passes over the course of a season. Hey, one note from the first practice. You hate to hear this. There was a scary situation. They actually had an injury that required a player to get carted off the field. It was starting inside linebacker Todd Davis. They're saying it's a calf or a lower leg injury. Carted off the field. However, initial reports seem to be good. James Palmer is reporting that the Broncos don't think it's going to be a big deal. He is going to get an MRI, however. Lindsay?